It's a big change coming from the finance operations side and also from the Dataverse side. We call it Azure Synapse link. Microsoft is heavily investigating, and so many people are concerned about what's going to happen with my DSC export service from the Dataverse side. And I have seen so many of my team members, my colleagues, they are running behind overnights. Why Microsoft is deprecating the DSC. So it's a very big change on its own, because so many people, customers of mine, also have invested so much money in that one now. So it's reinventing a wheel, re-spending, rebudgeting, so many things involved there. So what I'm going to talk about very briefly, high level, on what's coming from the finance operation side. So quickly, since I only have 10 minutes, maybe 10 to 12 minutes, so I'll quickly wrap it up.
Not 30.
so, uh, so my name is Faisal Farid. I recently started my own company with the name of One Dynamics Private Limited. So I'm you can call it my CEO, you can call it me a developer, solution architect, or a director, whatever you want to call me. But my name is Faisal Farid, and I'm also a Microsoft Business Application MVP since last 2 years. Uh, and I love building communities. So that's where when we started around 2.5 years ago, so I reached out to Rachit, Ammar, and Kamar. I said, let's do something unique for our FinOps family, because that's always from a Microsoft side, it's actually a dark side. We don't find any communities which more majorly speak on the FinOps. We always get free versions, trial versions for Dataverse. We don't get anything for the FinOps. So let's do something different for our community wherever we want to help out the community, and let's do some budget planning to wherever if someone wants to learn from a very student's point of view, so we can hand over some our own environments to that person. But the condition is that person has to be a willing person, not taking the environment and misuse it. Uh, so I have been running along with my volunteers, all my team members here, ANZ group, Pakistan user group, and so I just quickly want to run. It's not majorly going to talk about how we can play this video. So just off the topic, I'm originally from Pakistan, so everyone just wanted to share the awareness, like what's going on back home, because so many people are getting suffered. So just a call for everyone, if anyone wants to donate. As I did mention, I'm a community builder and also a fundraiser. So if anyone wants to donate, please feel free to get in touch with me. There is a very good response coming from my LinkedIn posts. So happy to have any help. Just quickly coming back to the professional side, today's talk is actually it's a very long agenda. I'm not going to cover everything, but happy to have a chat or whatever we can do after the session. So we're gonna see how the data syncs from the financial operations to the data lake. I will quickly run you through the summary. So what's going to happen? We have a financial operations data, we have a data lake, and then we have a Azure Synapse layer. What happening right now? We are getting the data from finance and operations using the BYOD. So bring your own database. And what was the reason there? Because Microsoft didn't want you to touch any or manipulate any data for the finance operations because you don't have access to the production database in finance operations world. You don't have access at all. That's actually a very big pain point for many customers because everyone was used to have access to the AX 2012. Since AX 2012, everyone just say Control D, go to the tables, delete this record, change this record. Okay, what happened? Oh, sorry, I forgot to make this change. So everyone used to have this access. So our fingers always go to Control D, Control D, Control D, do this, do this. So one day Microsoft changed the whole world. No, 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 you will not have access. Okay, what's going to happen? We will give you another database, but not we. You have to have your own Azure subscription. We will provide you a way you can configure your all the data from your finance operation. You will dump this data into the Azure database, which is called BYOD. Do whatever you want to do there, whatever you want to do it there. Now, there are so many issues like full push, incremental push. People are struggling. Okay, my export job is not running. I did this, you did this, what's happening? And the biggest challenge was it was only for data entities. So data entities concept is views in SQL views. Now Microsoft said, okay, we will provide you a data lake. And the benefit is you will get all the tables there. So that's why I said it's a tables here and the entities. So forget about the change feed for now. It's a bit complex. I will see if I'll get some enough time to explain this one. But let's say we have tables and the entities there. How it's going to look at here. So whenever you get the new environment from the finance rotation side, there is an array installed. So this is a microservice. So now things are going in the direction of a microservice. Everything is written outside of the application. You will embed that microservice and ask finance operations and also your dataverse, give me the data. That's the same concept we are having into the dataverse. We have dataverse, we configure your Synapse link there. The only difference between finance operations to the Synapse is data lake in between. Right now, we have to take the data from finance operation to the data lake first, and then we have some manual work, which is called CDM util. There is a manual work involved because since this is beginning of the picture, so Microsoft wants us to learn first CDM util, use CDM util there, and then you can definitely use your Azure functions there, function app there, and then even grid there. Let's go and look into the high level conceptual diagram. So what I'm talking about, this is your finance operations. This is your export service there, which I was talking about. You have to install this service into your LCS. Today it's LCS, but after maybe a few months, it's going to be your Power Platform Admin Center. So that's another change. You will have your service here. It will copy the data from finance operations to your data lake directly. So the data lake, you will have all your storage account. So you have to pay for your storage account. It really depends on the size of the data, whatever you want to activate it. So there are different processes I will quickly show in the next few slides. So fast forward, we have a data here. It's a storage account here. We have a one path going. This is an automation path. So we will have event grid. From the event grid, we will have your CDM util. CDM util is actually an executable file. We have a configuration file behind that one. So we know within the function apps, we can call any PowerShell scripts. We can call any configurations files there from the function apps. So that's why it's called as CDM util. It will push the data to your Azure Synapse. Whereas on the other side, from the dataverse side, we have a dataverse here, let's say, and then it's going directly to your Azure Synapse. No, this data lake concept, we don't have access to the data lake directly. Things are data are directly going to the Synapse there. As of now, this is the manual process involved here. So what we say is we have a CDM util console application here. We have to make a configuration changes. There is a process involved. Microsoft Docs article is actually quite rich into that one. Explains you. If you find any issue in there, please let me know. I can share more links on that one. Within the finance and operations side, under the workspaces, we have different menu items. This is where how you are gonna activate it. Once you open the form, you have two options here. Choose your tables, you choose your data entities. Once you get into this process, it's not that pretty straightforward. There are few things which you have to consider. That is, don't go with the data entities first, because data entities are nothing but the combination of the tables itself. So you have to make sure all your underlying tables already exist into your data lake first. Otherwise, it's a similar concept. You are creating an SQL view in a SQL without having that physical table exist. So it will not work at all for you. Until and unless you see this status in running state, then you can go to your, this is the way you can choose your data entities here. And within the data entity, you can also check all the tables behind this one. What I have found, if you don't have this workspace, go back to your data management workspace. You have a list of data entities there, but you don't know what are the tables behind those data entities. Many a times functional consultants come back to us, okay, what are the tables behind this one? Now, this is another way of finding your tables behind your data entities. Just go to this workspace, go to the data entity here. So functional consultants, business analysts, they can find tables behind these data entities themselves. These are the tables there. Now, quickly going back. So this is a CDM util. So what we have seen here, we get the data within the finance and operations. We have 2 or 3 screens there, and then we activating the tables or the data entities. First activating the tables, make sure it is in the running state, and then go to the data entities, make sure you are actually in the running state here. If there is an error message, there is a concept called drive tables, like a DIR party table, these things, or company tables. So the concept here is in SQL, too technical for many people, but I know few faces will understand what I'm talking about. But when you go to the SQL, you don't see the company table there. It's a different, these are the different tables there behind. So these are called drive tables. So Microsoft is still working on to those tables. If you go or try to sync DIR party global address book company tables, you will find errors there. So if you happen to find these errors, don't panic. There is a way. Developers always find out the workarounds, how to figure it out. So the way is go to your SQL, right click the table, create SQL script for that table, copy that SQL script from your SQL, go to your Synapse database, which is a serverless, and create those tables manually there first. So once you have all your baseline tables there, then you can go and create your data entities. I'm planning to write down a series of blogs on these topics there because it's too complex, and I have gone through all these pages, so I most likely will be sharing few information on my blogs there. So this is a configuration key. Again, it's a manual process. First, you have to go and run your tables. First one, go and run all the tables. So how does it work? Don't worry about the change feed for now. We'll see if I get some further screenshots. If not, let's see what we got further here. Thank you. All right, so I'll try to explain a few things here, how the data lives into the data lake. So we have a folder called data entities. We have a folder called tables there. We have a folder called change field there. Every table will have a separate table there, along with some module. If it's belong to our sales and marketing, general ledger, and so on. So first, create all the respective tables there. Change the configuration manually, and then run the CDM util. CDM util is actually an executable file. You can download it. CDM util is a console application. This is not designed only for the data lake. You can use CDM util for other Azure stack purposes. So you have to play around with the configuration there, run it, and then get the data into the database. So that was a very quick and a brief overview about how the things are changing here. Things are much mature from the Dataverse side since the Microsoft is actually deprecating the, I think so, DSE most likely in October or November.
Yeah, October.
In October, so things are getting very mature there. There are few pain points still there, but definitely these will be resolved over time. So that's all from my side for today. I wanted to just highlight one thing here. Think you have a change tracking enabled on a data entity for your BYOD. So this way you can track it's a full push or an incremental push. Change feed is actually a concept of SQL Server itself. It's a SQL database concept. It's not the finance operation. It's not the Dataverse concept. It's a SQL concept. So what it does here, it actually stores your data. It creates a file for every change. It doesn't update the data. It's always append. It's a history. So if you make a change for a customer group from 1 to 2, it will create a new record there. It's always append. What it does here, it's also store this level of information when the last record was updated, when it got updated into your data lake. It's a locking mechanism. When was the last record got locked there into the database level? It doesn't store the when it's got because you can't control the end of the LSM. So that's why Microsoft disabled that this particular field here. What was an action here? It was an update, insert, or delete. So for every insert, update, and delete, you will have all the history for the tables here. Why is it important for us? It's important when you go to the data lake and you want to verify all the history, what has happened with my record. So you will have direct access to your data lake storage account. If a customer or your partner will give you the access, you will have access. Otherwise, you can directly access this information from your Synapse database. So that's the end of the tunnel there. Once you have this data into the Synapse, what's gonna happen? You can connect with your Power BI reports because that's the end result. We just want to create Power BI reports. We just want to create Power dashboards there. So ERP is not designed to create all these Power BI reports and dashboards. We all know we have been struggling to answer all these questions to customers. Okay, yes, it is a web-based application, but this is not a web application. So it's a ERP. Try to think about you can't right click, you can't drag and drop things into the ERP. If you want to do this one, then go with the Power Pages. If you want to play around with this stuff and creating your websites here. From a financial side, we are the backbone of the company. We will provide you the data. Whatever the way you want to manipulate, showcase, it's your call. Get your Azure team, get your Power BI team, and that's it. So the end result for the data lake is, as of now, for this particular presentation is the Power BI, but there are so many other options available. Once you have your data into Synapse, it's not only you are spending millions of dollars just to create your Power BI reports. So you can have your data warehouse there. You can embed multiple data sources from SAP, Oracle, everything into your data lake, match the data there, create your data warehouse there, and then create all the outcomes there. It's a Microsoft roadmap. It's maybe 2 months or maybe 1 month old. So things may have changed because we know things change overnight. So please keep an eye on Yammer group, especially. So there is a Yammer group. If you don't have access, I'm happy to share that link over LinkedIn, or please register to our group of ANZ, and I'm happy to share all the links to the Yammer group here. So because Yammer is the group which is the more source of truth for us, all the product group leaders, Microsoft people, they are communicating there. So thank you so much. Any question?
No. What is the frequency for moving from FinOps to data lake?
It's gonna be around 10 minutes sometimes. Sometimes it's happening in 1 minute, sometimes it's happening in 2 minutes. So there is no proper time limit written on a Microsoft Docs article. So this is just a
says it's near real time.
it's near real time. Yeah. So that's why if you want to save ourselves, they just say near real time. Don't say 2 minutes, 3 minutes, because sometimes near real time is different for you and for me. So
whenever we say to customer that it's near real time, definitely this question comes up. Like,
exactly. So it was 6 hours. So over time, it will be a near real time, because 2 months ago by June 1st, it was 6 hours. So Microsoft was saying it is 6 hours. It's 6 hours, because once you change the data, it will take 6 hours to reflect that into your data lake. But now they are saying it's a near real time, but again, it depends on your data. If you are talking about a customer group, it's a simple one day. But if you're talking about customers B3 data entity, customers itself, it has addresses on it. We all know the pain points about that business. So it takes roughly always say 15 to 20 minutes.
if you can go back to the last.
Yes.
The one more. Yeah, we have two date and times, right? What is the last? Yeah, these two.
This one?
This one is from FinOps.
This is from FinOps. And this is when it got modified from data lake to your Synapse.
Okay, this is FinOps.
Yes.
So when we are pushing the data entities to data lake, do they update in a table wise, or do they update in complete data?
SQL, like this is the sequence. So what it does.
My question is at the table level, right?
Table
So
level.
for example, if you are pushing table.
Table wise.
Yeah.
I don't understand the question, but answer is
No,
table
but
wise.
when we are pushing purchase order data, right? So
Yep.
Purchase order entity to have multiple tables behind it.
Yep.
So when we push the purchase order data to data lake, it will be placed in the data lake with respect to each.
Exactly. So this is where sequence value, because in purchase order, we have purchase table, we have different tables. So what will happen here, it will say purchase table, sequence value is 1. And then the second data source of that data entity, it will come over here and will say 2.
Right.
So that's the concept of a sequence value. It's actually gives you the table hierarchy there.
Nice. But I think you get the metadata of your entity. So in your data lake, you will still be able to see what is the structure of my entity.
Yes.
So you get the metadata exposed, but the actual data still resides in the table form.
So there are two files there. It's the metadata, which is a JSON format, because this actually gets your data. So there are always two files. One is your metadata. So metadata is used by your CDN util. It uses the metadata here. You see here, manifest.cdn.json. So manifest is your metadata. So it reads the manifest, get the data from the table itself, and then push it. All good?
Yeah, can we do it after the sessions? Thank you, Devendra.
Thank you.
Thank you.